I'm Nicholas Balsi here at the Republican National Convention with Phil Robertson from Duck Dynasty. Thank you so much for taking some time to speak with me.
Good to be here, man.
So far at the convention, what was the best part for you? What was the best part so far?
The best part overall is I think that there's an undercurrent going on in America, and I think the people, after a long dry spell, we've been wandering in the wilderness for the last almost 8 years. Now I think there is hope that underneath all this, what will come out of this is a change of leadership in Washington, D.C., which I sorely want.
Now, I saw that you've already commented on the lack of a Cruz endorsement for Donald Trump. Some on social media are saying all kinds of things in terms of what the consequences should be for that because of the party unity. What do you think should be the response from the party and the voters if Cruz does not endorse Trump?
When the disciples came to Jesus and they said, "How many times should we forgive someone who sins against us?" 7? Which to them was a lot. Because in America, about 3 strikes and you're out. You do me wrong 3 times, you're out. But they were being generous by saying, how many times should we forgive someone, Lord? 7? And Jesus' reply was 70 times 7. My advice to all the nominees, potential nominees, the 17 people, the Bushes, Cruz, if I were them, I would be long on forgiveness for whatever happened during the nomination process. The people have spoken, and they've said Donald Trump is the man. Therefore, as a loyal Republican, I'm backing Donald Trump. That's the hand we've been dealt. How could you be worse than Hillary Clinton? How could it be possible?
And that's what a lot of the Trump supporters are saying. But like you point out, the Bush family's not here. Mitt Romney, 2012 nominee, is not here. John Kasich is not here.
They gave their word that they would back the nominee. They were doing that to make sure Trump was going to back whichever one of them won. But when he won, there were some that reneged. They need to learn how to forgive and love their neighbor. I would start there, and it'll work itself out. We're not going to change this nation just by electing different leadership, by the way. There has to be God put back into the fabric of American government. Bad people produce bad government. That's the way it works. Our people need to be better, and we will have a better government. If our people are good and virtuous and righteous, righteousness exalts a nation. Sin's a disgrace to any people. So we're trying to get a little spiritual part into all this.
How about the Gary Johnson factor? Governor Johnson is here, the Libertarian nominee, at the Republican convention, walking around, and there's a report that Jeb Bush could actually endorse Johnson since he's not going to endorse Trump. Why should people get behind Trump and not Johnson if they're on the fence?
Trump has said enough in my mind. He will have conservative appointees to the Supreme Court. He's given us a list of them. That's a good thing. We need to get control of our borders. He said that. We are certainly going to have to do something about this terrorism. We're going to have to do something about it, and pretty quick. So the bottom line is, you say, I think I'll go with old Trump. He's said enough for me to say, you know what? He says he's against aborting children. As a conservative, I'm thinking, you know what? I'm going with Trump. He doesn't have a record. I'm listening to what he's saying. There's a lot of people that's mobilized behind him. All I know for sure is I know what we'll get if the other side wins. And then I'm going to have to live in the woods for the next 4 years.
You were talking about the deporting. You said deporting children. Is that an issue of concern to you, immigration right now, illegal immigration?
Yeah. In other words, if you've got this kind of terrorism going on, we know they're sending in killer teams. You're like, we better be very careful on who we allow to come into this country, and we better really vet them extremely carefully. You see what I'm saying? This is a dangerous place, I don't know how many shoot-'em-ups we're going to have before someone says, you know what, America's turning into a killing field. I mean, there's a lot of killing going on our streets without ISIS. Add ISIS to it, and he says he's a law and order man. We're going to need one. I know one thing, it's not the cops' problem, because if you got rid of all the cops, can you imagine what this thing would be like? If you're seeing it collapse with law enforcement, what would happen if we didn't have them?
At the GOP convention in Cleveland, I'm Nicholas Balassi.